Hi, Mike Fiffik, Fiffik Law Group. I'm a small business attorney, been advising small businesses for over 30 years. And I'm here to talk to you today if you have an ownership interest in a business and what you need to know about the Corporate Transparency Act. So, what is the Corporate Transparency Act? It is a new compliance rule that became effective January of 2024 that requires small businesses to report information on their beneficial owners. It applies to about 32 million businesses in the United States. So very likely, if you have an ownership in a business, it is going to apply to your business. And when I say businesses, I mean businesses that were formed by filing something with their Secretary of State or their corporation's bureau, like a limited liability company or a corporation. If there was some filing to start your business, then your business likely is affected by the Corporate Transparency Act. So what information are businesses required to report? They're required to report personal information about what are called the beneficial owners under the law. What's a beneficial owner? Well, it's any owner that has a 25% or more ownership interest in the business. But it also applies to the business's officers or anybody that has significant authority or control over the business. So the reporting requirement may apply to persons beyond folks who have an equity interest in the business, and it will certainly apply to their CEO or their president, maybe their general counsel, their treasurer, perhaps the members of the board of directors. This can apply to a wide variety of people. So if you are one of those people that could possibly be a beneficial owner that has a reporting requirement under the Act, what should you do? What you're going to be required to do is to provide your personal information, name, address, certain other personal identifying information about you to every business that you qualify as a beneficial owner. Now, if you're an investor, that might be just one business, it might be 10 businesses, it might be 50 businesses. There are a lot of entrepreneurs out there that have an ownership interest in a wide variety of businesses. So that can be a huge task to provide your information to all of those businesses and to update that information whenever your address, phone number, contact information, or other personal information changes. So what should you do? I think that you should get what's called a FinCEN identifier. You can file directly with FinCEN, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, to get an identification number. Your company can comply with the Corporate Transparency Act by providing FinCEN with your FinCEN identifier, and that's all that they need to do. They don't need to gather any of your personal information. They can just provide the FinCEN number. That relieves them of the burden of gathering your information and making sure that it's updated periodically. It also relieves you of the burden of providing that information to many businesses and updating it every time it changes. The only person or only place where you need to make updates are with FinCEN. If your information changes, you go to FinCEN, you change your information, and that's it. You don't have to provide any of your address, phone number, or any other information to any of these businesses. If you don't want to, you can just refile it with FinCEN. So the Corporate Transparency Act is an important new compliance rule that all small businesses in the United States need to be aware of. And it's something that they need to be thinking about. There are nuances to it. Does it apply to them? Do they fall into one of the exemptions? What kind of policies should they have in place in order to comply with the Act on a long-term basis? So I really encourage you, if you're an investor or if you have influence over a small business, to get with a qualified small business attorney and find out more about what your company should know about and do about the Corporate Transparency Act in 2024. Thank you.